That's the greatest.
One more. He can just run through the... It'll be well dark in here.
Concrete invented is 2000 BC.
The only light in here that would have been, which is what would come in the door. It's a lot more eerie if you could cover up the...
You know on the passage down here, there's like a gate the same as that.
Hello.
Bit rubbish, should that
Okay.
Excellent.
So I'll just tell you a bit about this and then you can explore then. The reason I'm standing down here is that we've got a problem with a wall here.
Listening.
There's a lintel here that's broken and we're waiting on the council to decide what they're going to do about it. It's up to them to fix it. So they're suggesting they might take the roof off. It's been suggested this wall is moving because they've built this concrete dome on the top of the 5,000-year-old walls, which is what they did years ago. In all the tombs like in Rousey, it's all been done the same technique, but they think it's moving. So there's part of the wall here is coming out the way, so this lintel above this side cell here is unstable, they're thinking. So they've got dots on here and they're measuring it every few weeks to see whether it's moved and then settled. So we have a chain here to keep normal tourists out, but you're no normal, so we'll let you in. Just don't lean on it. Okay, so this is 5,000-year-old, over 5,000-year-old, the same age as Scarabreed. And Dad found it in 1958. He was studying the rock formation out here, looking for a bed of rock to cut into to make corner posts for the fences. And you see all the rocks out there, you see them in Orkney, they're all slanted. So he was looking for a bed of rock that he could cut into to make this big pillar. And he saw part of what turned out to be the outside wall of the tomb there. He scraped away and he saw ceremonial tools that you'll see in the museum. They were just left lying at the outside wall there. And then you see that pillar there in the middle? The pillar there, that was, visualise, this was a mound, just a green grassy mound, and that top of the pillar was sticking out the top. So he thought that would be a good place to investigate. And it turned out to be the inside of the back wall, so he ended up digging down through this back wall at that side there and came into this side cell, and at 10 o'clock at night he had a look in and there were 30 skulls that were looking at him in that side cell up there. So because this place was all full of stone, so they'd used it for 800 years and then closed it up. So the roof, you see the shape of this is about 29 feet long and the walls are corbelled. You see they're wider at the bottom and then they would come stepped in like that, corbelled, and then come so close and then put a row of flat flagstones across the roof then, across the top of the roof. So when they decided to close this up, the roof was removed and they filled the whole of the main passageway from the top. The entrance door there had stones across like that, and the entrances to the side cells had stones like that to prevent the infill from going in there. So the bones, some of them I spoke to you earlier, they reckon there would be a table out at the front there and lay the bodies up for the birds to clean. So it's only a token that's come into the tomb, just a bundle of dry, clean bones, they reckon. And they were first laid along the side wall, so you'll see photographs in there. There's bones along the floor. And then at a later date, they were removed from there, and the side cells were used to put the heads, the skulls were put in there. And you see the two cupboards at the end? This cupboard here had about 14 to 16 inches of all their body bones. There's 16,000 bones altogether found in here. Okay, so heads are mostly in the side cells and the body bones in there. So what else? Yes, the walls are, you see between the walls these pillars. Pillars are all built there for strength. They're all built in sections and the walls are arched that way and corbelled. All built so that they'll stand up. What else is there?
Is there any sort of artefacts apart from the bones?
There's loads. So there's 100 with a pottery. You'll meet it in the museum there. Imagine when you come in the door there, at this pile between these two pillars, there's 28 kilos of pottery. When they were first studied, they thought there were about 46 pots altogether, but the guy that's studying them now, there's over 100, he thinks, and they've all intentionally been broken and burnt. There's no complete ones, so it's a miserable jigsaw puzzle. But they're all being studied. There's 16,000 bones. They're all being studied again as well. They're up in Finstown in the old school up there. So there's a guy doing his PhD. He's already done his masters and done a write up on that. But now he's doing his PhD, trying to piece them all together. He's trying to get all the heads and the limbs together. But there's never a complete skeleton, so it's very difficult to work out exactly how many people there are. So there's so many more different theories coming out. So, okay, I think that's about all that I have to tell you. We'll get all the rest. Is there any other questions?
This must be sort of the most, I don't know, there must be more bones in here, bodies, than anywhere else in Orkney, is there?
It's the biggest find in Western Europe, I think. That's been found so far in Stone Age bones. So because of that, they can tell such a lot about the bones, about the people, because there's so many bones to work on. They can work out their height, and this Dave Lawrence is looking into it. He's looking into a lot of the illnesses, a lot of the problems that they would have. So.
And have you got any sort of interpretations yourself on what they were doing, what they thought, you know, what their rituals were, what they believed?
You'll get a lot more of that when you get into the museum there. Yeah, you'll see the artefacts and things that you can piece together to put to the ritual ideas. The ceremonial tools, that's bound to be all to do with ritual of some kind. And we've got a square cube that you probably won't have seen that we're handing around now, so you can work out what that is. We've got an awful lot of psychic people here, and they come back telling us lots and lots of stories. I don't know whether I should throw someone into you, but some people believe that we were out here 10:30, 11 o'clock one night, we're blowing a gale and raining, black dark, and they had music in here and candles and whatnot, and one girl went into there and she says, oh, there was children in here. So they reckon that this tomb was used, you don't write this in your book, but it's suggested it was used by the women, and somewhere else there's a place that the men all gathered for the rituals, since you're asking about the ritual side of things. So that this is a women's bit, and that the bairns were in there, that this place was used as a the side cells are birthing chambers. There's 3 of them there. And I says, no way, when I was 9 months pregnant did I want to crawl in here. It's actually lovely and peaceful. And that like the older siblings suggested they could be in there, like they wouldn't be left home. But it's just suggestion, it's just open your mind to it. That's like what archaeologists think, it's just used as a burial place. Dave Lawrence, he's coming up with some different ideas. He thinks that the bodies come in here complete and were laid around in the same way. They were dragged in here and then laid along the wall because all their left clavicles are broken. But I don't know that I would take my granny in here and then tramp on it. Like, he thinks they're all lying in the same direction, so that when you were coming in, then you would lie on them. That's one of his theories. But that was after his first year in his PhD, so we're hoping he's coming up with something more. Anyway, keep an open mind with it all. Okay? So just whatever you're doing, keep away. I'll stay at this corner here anyway, but you can go into that corner.
Where were the eagles?
Well, the eagle talons. One man was buried with 5 of them, another had 7, and the third 15. When the tomb was closed up, there was a man buried in it 2.5 feet into the infill, and he had the bones of 2 eagles and bones of 2 eagles and 15 talons. Don't know what he did. There should have been 6 for 2 eagles. There's 16 talons. So what do you think he did wrong? That he got lost the one? Anyway, it looks as if they don't really know why the place was closed up. It might be that the community's come to an end. That you need what do you call it, so many women. You need men. You need hunters. You need cooks. You need potters. So if the community became too small, then there's maybe not enough to keep a community going. So but the tomb appears to have been intentionally closed up. And then at a later date, when you go out there, you'll see walls. There's what do you call it? Menopausal brain again. What do you call the stones that goes out that side? North and south. Too young for menopause. What do you call it? There's a group of stones out there. It's not a forecourt, I'll get it. Here it comes, don't worry. Right. Anyway, there's a lot of stones out that side, and Dad found kissed burials in there. There's walls and kissed burials, and in those the bones date to early Bronze Age. So this is 5,100 years old, used for 800 years. And then at a later date they seem to have gone into early Bronze Age. They're burying people in kists. So there's a lot of area around here that hasn't been excavated yet. But
It's quite interesting for us for like continuity, you know. going
yes,
through-
well, there's a whole lot more going on here that it's opening a can of worms. But we've had the Orkney College here, and they've done surveys all around here, all around the outside. And Sean Hedges, the guy that wrote the Tomb of the Eagles book, that Dad gave all the bones artefacts to, he's coming up here next Saturday, the 27th, for the whole summer. So there's other places he's going to be looking at. Then there's a dig going to be going on out at the old head. And there's Bronze Age stuff there. And Sean's going to be digging at the old farmhouse there, trying to link into so much going on.
How far away was you've got the cliffs here?
The cliffs, I don't know. You tell me how fast the geology would be. Psychic people tell us that there was a big stone circle bigger than Ring of Brodgar out there between. But would that disappear in 5,000 years?
No, it looks pretty hard to me.
Yes, I can't see that. I can't see that. I don't think that we're. Dad was sitting out on an outcrop of rock there one night, thinking many moons ago, he says. And once he went back into the house, he heard a roar. And when he went out here the next day, discovered the rock that he'd been sitting on had disappeared. So it just forgot. It just there you go. His time wasn't up. Okay. There's
Brilliant.
still so many unanswered questions, but a lot of them will come. You'll get answered when you're in at the museum.
Lovely.
Okay.
Excellent.
Is that okay for just now?
Brilliant.
The eagles, they've suggested that they, just to put you in the picture, is that the eagles were used as a totem. So the important people were buried with eagles.